So this quick video is about how to increase the profit margins of your ecom store. And I'm going to go over 5 leverage points that quietly decide ecom profit so that you can pick some and make some changes. You don't have to do all of them, but even if you just do a few in the right way based on your specific brand, what you sell, I'll give some examples, you'll be well on your way to having higher profit margins. And that's a lot of what I do for all types of companies. So here we go. So most ecom brands don't fail because they can't sell their product. They fail because they scale on thin margins. Out of all the businesses that I have worked with, ecom has literally some of the smallest margins. And this is why, because this is a list of things that most brands that sell products are paying for, usually all of them. So you've got your cost of goods, your packaging, your inserts and boxes, your 3PLs, warehouse fees, fulfillment softwares, shipping label cost, any damaged inventory you need to write off, Shopify plans, Stripe and payment processing fees, currency conversion fees, refunds and returns, ad spend, creative production like UGC, editing, filming, agency fees, influencer fees, email and SMS, tracking tools, Triple Whale, Northbeam, Hyro, staff payroll, accounting and bookkeeping, office and warehouse rent, tools and subscriptions, duties, sometimes imports, and sometimes legal and compliance. So this is why a lot of ecom brands feel like they don't make any money, even if they're selling a lot in revenue. So margin magic is about increasing profit without increasing traffic. I'm going to assume if you're watching this video, you've already got traffic and you're making sales. So by pulling these leverage points that quietly decide whether scale actually works, how far you can go, how to break through plateaus in your in profit, but obviously in revenue as well. So let's jump into it. So the first one is what I call basket economics. So this is basically increasing items per checkout. What this lever controls how much value is captured inside a single checkout before post-purchase or lifecycle strategies even matter, and I'm going to get into those in a second. This is where AOV, your average order value, is decided during the buying moment. So the key principle here is if someone is already buying something, the cheapest sale you'll ever make is the next item in that same transaction. So what would live here are things like order bumps. So someone's buying one thing and right inside the checkout, it's like, hey, add this thing. In-cart cross-sells. This is specifically like in your cart, other basically products that kind of relate to it. And I'm just separating those because technically it's an order bump, but I just wanted to be really clear that you're cross-selling into either another category in your store or something that matches it specifically as opposed to just any order bump there. Complete the set offers. This is similar to a cross-sell, but I just wanted to be specific here. It's let's say someone's buying a necklace, you might put earrings with it. Let's say someone's buying a notebook, you might put a pen with it. Let's say someone is buying a hat, you might say, also buy this t-shirt, for example. Also quantity breaks, so 2, 3 plus incentives. This is basically where you say you're essentially upselling on how much someone is buying. So you might say, I'm trying to talk fast, but I'm going to slow down. You might say, if you spend this much, you'll get free shipping. If you buy these things together, you'll get a third one. You get a discount on something, for example. What this is not is it's not post-purchase upsells, which I'll get to. It's not email or SMS. It's not bundles or product strategy. It's just in-cart items per checkout. And I'll talk about specifically how to make sure that those items per checkout are your highest average order value, but also your highest profit margin, because just putting anything in making sure that people buy more than one thing doesn't necessarily increase your profit margins if you're not bundling correctly. So an example here is a $60 core product. You attach a $19 accessory at checkout, 30-40% attachment rate, people buy, and then there's immediate margin lift with no added traffic. Second option you have is profit laddering. So this is a post-decision monetization. How much additional revenue is captured after the customer has already said yes. This is about sequencing, not cluttering the cart. So the key principle here is once the buying decision is made, resistance drops because they've already purchased. So structure determines profit here. What lives here is a one-click upsells. This is after checkout as opposed to an order bump, which is inside checkout. And this is like a mechanism, where you, after they buy, it's like, hey, wait, buy this too. Downsells, this is about removing friction. So this is where you position something that's less expensive, again, after checkout. And then certain post-purchase offers could also include other accessories, refills, subscriptions. This is more of a timing thing. Depending on what you sell, there's a lot of big brands that have had a ton of success with this, like AG1, I think it's called, where after you buy something, they hit you immediately, like you've already checked out, but with like a one-click upsell post-purchase subscription, which is obviously how they've made a ton of money. Okay. The margin magic rule here is upsells should increase contribution margin, not just average order value. So as I was saying before, you need to pick upsells where the incremental cost is disproportionately lower than the incremental revenue. So the cost to you. So like, let's say, you have a product and it's super high margin. It's one of your most high margin products. And when I work with people, I always ask them, what are your highest margin products? So we can start to piece together what the best upsell, downsell, post-purchase sequences are, so that every person isn't just spending more and the average order value in the cart isn't just high, but the profit of that is also high. Because if you have an average order value of, let's say, $300, but you're losing money on those products, or they're all very low margin products, then it won't actually add to your contribution margin and just like your overall profitability. So the high leverage examples here would be like a digital add-on for some brands, subscriptions work for others, extended warranties, and then, as I said, high margin accessories. Okay. You want to avoid adding low margin upsells here, and I already went over that just inflate average order value but don't actually improve profit. Some examples. So customer completes the checkout. They're shown a one-click refill or digital add-on or accessory. No, they don't need to re-enter their payment method. And then high profit without risking conversion breaks, because you've already made the conversion. They've already purchased, and then there's another opportunity with a high profit product to just get some extra margin. So number 3 is margin architecture. So this is about bundling and steering demand. So what this lever controls is what customers are guided to buy, not how much traffic you send to the site. So once they come to the site, we need to guide people to buy certain products. It's not enough to just, obviously, as many of you know, just put products on the website. So this is about shaping demand. Key principle here is customers don't just respond to price, they respond to price comparison. It's the reason why when you walk into Prada, they have $300 t-shirts. They're not necessarily expecting you to buy t-shirts, but they are price anchoring the overall store in a very deliberate way, and that comes down to a lot of their merchandising in store, but you can do that same kind of merchandising on a website. So what lives here? So bundlings with controlled margins. This is multiple products packaged together into one offer and priced intentionally, so the overall margin is known to you and protected. Okay, so you might take like a few different products and say this is now a bundle of stuff, and making sure that you're going for the highest possible margin here. Anchor SKUs. So this is a deliberately high-priced product whose main job is not to sell, kind of like that t-shirt example, but to make other products feel like a better deal. So when they come to the store, you might see a variety of things at different price points, and it sort of just allows people to say, oh, this now becomes a better deal because I see this other thing which is expensive, and I'm going to buy this thing, which actually has the higher margin. There's a few ways to do it, but it's just important to make sure that when people come to the site and in your merchandising, that they see things at various price points. Tiered product options are another great way to do this. So this is multiple versions of the same core product presented side by side, each with increasing value. So let's say you're a jewelry brand, you might have like a necklace and an earring set for one price, and then you'll have a necklace and 2 earring sets for another price. And then your third one might be the super high price anchor, so that the middle one feels better. And it might be a necklace, a bracelet, and 2 earring sets. All of them are going to be high margin, and you're going to make sure that you put them together in a high margin way. But you're essentially getting a tiered product and a bundle and a price anchor all together. This does wonders for increasing margins. And then strategic pricing ladders. This is a deliberate progression of prices across your catalog that guides customers towards higher margin options over time. So there's a few ways to do this. One of them I'll get to in a second when it comes to your LTV. But essentially you just want to in terms of how, again, you're putting stuff on your site, just making sure people have a full idea of the pricing ladder that you're offering, because you want to appeal to all buyers. There's going to be buyers that literally want to pay the cheapest thing. There's going to be buyers that literally want the most expensive thing. And then there is this huge subset of buyers, which is most people, that will pay more for stuff they really want, but they are looking for some kind of deal. And this type of thing will hit all of those right there. Why this works is bundles don't just increase average order value, which is technically a revenue metric. They should reflect demand toward higher margin SKUs. And this is especially powerful when one product drives volume and another product drives profit. Examples here are, $49 the single item, $99 is the bundle with a high margin SKU, $129 is your anchor, and then it makes the middle bundle feel obvious, and then majority of buyers choose that bundle. The number 4 lever is revenue per buyer. Now, this is about buyer stratification and lifecycle leverage. So how much profit each customer generates over time, not just in their AOV or their items per checkout. This is where most brands focus, but so I'm going to talk about it because it's wildly important, because this is where the margin quietly compounds. Offering discounts are for acquisition. And margin comes from relevance, i.e. profit comes from showing the right offer to the right buyer at the right time, not from just offering them the lowest price. So this is where you can segment your list by total spend, how much they've spent, by the products they own, which is one of my favorites, by their order count, how many things have they bought, and then by VIP or high margin buyer list. So if you know your highest margin products, you can send people who have bought them more high margin products. Obviously, you want to really think about your customer journey here and think about what someone would want next and how you can build this for them. Obviously, a lot of brands do this, but sometimes it's without intention. It's like, oh, we'll just send we'll email this product at this point, or like after they buy this, we'll send everyone the same thing. But it doesn't have to be like that. You can send people very specific things, and it is amazing what it can do for profitability. So some examples here. The buyer or the customer buys a product X, and they only see product Y, as I just said. So I helped the skateboard company do a little bit of consulting with them. I said, when someone buys a board, what do they usually buy next? He's like, well, at checkout, when they come to the store, I usually offer them this. So it's like, if they buy a board, let's offer them that in the online world. Customers with 3 or more orders get higher priced drops. So it's like, if they spent more than 3 things, maybe you send them something more expensive. And then high lifetime value buyers get fewer discounts and better offers. So you don't need to necessarily give discounts to people who have already spent a lot with you, but they should get better offers, maybe better bundles, and maybe early drops or exclusive deals. This is not just an email blast that goes out to everyone, generic promotions like, oh, it's Mother's Day, and not constant discounting. This is very strategic systems that you build within the back end so that it automatically happens, but it does take some thought to get there. And lastly, number 5, I'm calling pricing authority. So this is margin control at the system level. This is the least used, but it is a very high impact lever. So what this is about is whether each sale meaningfully contributes to profit or just simply adds volume. The key thing here is about pricing. Most brands might try to out-market, basically spend a lot on marketing and just keep pushing products that really a price fix would help them be more sellable. So the first part here is the strategic price increase. This is about raising prices intentionally on specific products where demand can absorb it, instead of just blanket increases or reactive discounts. We're going to raise all products. No, we want to raise specific products in specific ways by taking in how much they're bought, who buys them, and what their margin is already, and the perceived value of what that product is. There's a lot of things that can come into play here in terms of raising prices intentionally. We might want to remove low margin SKUs. If there's a very low margin SKU and it's not even selling, it's you should consider whether or not you want to keep it, or maybe it could be packaged somewhere else. It could be put in a bundle. There's some things there. So like if a low margin SKU is one of your highest volume things, it's even more important that you deploy one of the other strategies so that you can pick up some of that profitability. Repricing bundles instead of hero products. So this is about adjusting the pricing of a bundle or a secondary offer instead of touching the main product that drives trust and conversions. So you might have a product that it's like everyone buys, everybody knows. Sure, maybe you don't play with that one, but as I just said, there's other things that you can play with. So this is just giving an example of that. And then testing price elasticity on back-end offers. So this is about experimenting with different prices on post-purchase, repeat, or upsell offers to see where demand actually breaks. And essentially it's like, just send a segment of your list, a product, and add a different price and just see what happens. These are all, I'll give you a couple more examples before I end it. Why this matters: a 5 to 10% price shift on the right SKU can outperform weeks of optimizations. I mean, I'm all about funnel optimizations, literally what I do, but the right price increase can just make everything, change profit, change conversion rates, all those things quickly. Back-end offer price, if let's say the example here is your back-end offer price is increased by 8%, you don't have a drop in conversions, there's an immediate profit increase, fewer sales needed to hit the same revenue, and you're getting the extra profit margin. This is all just about remembering that fixing the right lever compounds everything. And if you are running an ecom brand, but really any company that sells online, these are the things that need to happen as ad prices continue to go up and as other costs also climb for a variety of reasons. The real money is made through these things, through these 5 levers, so that you can get more profit margin for the same traffic, for the same ad spend, and just overall bring more money into the company. Hope you enjoyed this. If you want me to check out your funnel, I'll leave a link maybe in this video, and you can book something with me. I'll look at your funnel, I'll find the bottlenecks, we'll look at your data, and just figure out what you could literally do like today, this week, this month to get more rev and profit. All right, have a good one.